Okay, good evening YouTube, good evening, welcome to episode 43 of the FPL Family. This is our Game Week 27 preview video, and I have to say, I'm going to find it hard, I think. I'm going to find it hard to be strict to stick to Game Week 27 preview, because, I don't know about you, I was watching the FA Cup this weekend, and I actually...
There was a
cup? Not interested. Not bothered. Are we really? Not bothered. I was watching the FA Cup this weekend, and I was sitting there watching the Palace game, and I was watching. Who was the other game? Wolves. God, only this afternoon. Watching Wolves, watching Palace, and I was trying to pay attention to what was going on, but in my mind I was just like, so if Bristol City score, then they'll have a blank in 31, and then Doherty got injured. So in my head, all I was thinking about was the ramifications for FPL. I was not in any way interested in whether Palace were going to get through or whether Wolves were going to beat Bristol City. It was just what the FPL ramifications were. So, a lot going on in my head. A lot going on Twitter about this today as well.
Yeah. The good thing about this is there's going to be a double game week for Kane, so the triple captain is on.
Well,
so that's made me day.
I think it is the time of the season, guys, that I particularly like as an FPL manager, and I think it's this time of the season, we've said it before, that really sorts the managers out. The ones that play it properly, the managers that are really into the game. All of you guys that are tuning in tonight, the players that play the game.
And me?
Versus, of course you, dear, of course you.
Is that from FPL Family?
And maybe me, I don't know, maybe me. But it sorts out the wheat from the chaff, doesn't it? I mean, this is where, if you've got your chips, and I tell you what, there's a few of you tuning in tonight that I'm sure haven't got your wild card. There's a few of you that haven't got your free hit chip. Oh, I tell you what, I'd have a headache right now without my free hit chip.
Jeff's got nothing left.
I'd have a serious headache without a free hit.
What are you going to do?
And at the minute, and I've changed my mind on this, guys, even throughout the course of today as the FA Cup was going on, I put on Twitter, it looks nailed on, the free hit in Game Week 31. Go for it, because so many blanks. How are you going to get a team out? It's got to be free hit.
Really?
And then I'm looking at maybe 32, and I'm thinking, well, hold on a minute. I don't want to play that. Maybe I shouldn't play a defensive free hit in 31. Maybe I should play an offensive one in 32 and get 11 cracking players out there for Game Week. I don't know. Listen, it's all to be discussed on tonight's FPL Family.
There's going to be a spreadsheet coming. I can feel a spreadsheet coming.
Well, that you're going to make, or that you're going to nick off of somebody else? Because the reason I say that is because there's already some brilliant spreadsheets out there.
I mean, I need a spreadsheet of...
You need a spreadsheet?
I'll do it myself over the next couple of weeks.
See, if you're on Twitter, Ben Crennan has done all this for you already.
No, because I don't want it to do... So what I want to do is... This is how I'm going to play it. When you're away, and I don't have to think about you. I'm going to work out... Because I was having the same pondering as you with free hit. When am I free hitting? When am I wild carding? When am I going to triple captain, bench boost, so forth? So in my head now, what I need to work out is if I continue to play the game as I currently am, by the time 32 rolls around, so I know I'll have 6 players currently without transfers for Game Week 31.
Don't go too deep on it now. We're going to talk about this a bit later on.
No, but so what I need to then do is plot the players through time to Game Week 33.
Plot the players through time. This is a serious strategy here, guys. This is a serious strategy on a spreadsheet. Yeah. Plotting the players through. I can't wait to see this.
Because that's the only way. That's the only way I can know which game week is best for the free hit to go in. Because it's all going to be about the number of players.
Well, listen. Loads to discuss on chip theories and all that sort of stuff, guys. We're going to try as best we can to stick to the Game Week 27 preview, right? There is a game week coming up. There are some games to be played. And they are actually next weekend. I think the deadline is a Friday. Actually, I think there's two games on a Friday, isn't there? I think West Ham are playing.
Yeah. West Ham and Fulham and Cardiff and Watford.
Yeah, so there's 2 games on the Friday. So... advance warning, very advance warning, guys. Don't forget that the deadline is going to be Friday next game week.
Particularly you, as you're in a different country on Friday, don't forget.
Particularly as I'm going to be in a different country with potentially a bit of a hangover as well on Friday morning. So I've got to be on my game. Well, I'll set my bus team. Thanks to the Hale Cheaters for that. I'm going to use my bus team, get that set right now, so that if the worst comes to worst Friday morning and I forget, which is not going to happen because in 11 years of playing the game, I've never forgotten to change my fantasy team. But if the worst comes to worst, I will set my bus team.
Have you made a transfer yet?
I haven't, no, and that's part of the reason. Part of the reason I haven't is there's so much to happen, right? So much to happen. The reason, guys, we're doing this tonight and not Thursday is, as we've already alluded to, I'm not here. I'm in Dublin actually on Thursday and Friday.
It's never here at the moment.
So there might be another. I did a Periscope from Dublin Airport last time. That was actually quite good. I quite enjoyed that, doing a little Periscope. So we might do that again.
Yeah, wasn't that because you couldn't find a bar to watch the game in? Wasn't that the case? Weren't you going to do something? And you couldn't find football?
I think that was another time I went. I think this was it was just genuinely, I was sitting there, I was bored, the flight was delayed, and I thought I'd just do a Periscope.
Right.
So I'm going to be in Dublin Thursday, Friday, so we can't do our preview on Thursday as normal, so we're doing it tonight, guys. But of course, there is plenty of action to go, not least Chelsea versus Manchester United in the FA Cup tomorrow night, Monday Night Football. Actually, I shouldn't say Monday Night Football, that's a Sky Premier League thing, isn't it? But on Monday night tomorrow, Chelsea versus Manchester United, which of course has an impact on the doubles, etc. going down.
What do we actually want to happen? Because Man United missed the game anyway. Regardless of what happens, Man U don't play in that 31 because they're playing City. So the question is, do we want...
If they knock Chelsea out, Chelsea and options Everton, are back on the table with Everton. 31.
With Richarlison, yeah, because Chelsea are playing Everton.
Okay.
Everton are playing Chelsea.
Okay. So that fixture is back on in 31.
So Richarlison gets more stays of execution in your team.
He is gone, I'm telling you. He is gone this week.
I reckon you still have Richarlison by the last game week of the season.
Game week 38 and Lee still has Richarlison. It's
and even when you wildcard, he stay there.
Well, we'll talk about transfers and captains and all that sort of stuff, guys. I am absolutely hovering my finger over the transfer out button for Richarlison this week.
You just wait for someone to get injured during the Champions League.
Oh, trust me, there is another transfer that I would prefer to make, but that would give Richarlison more time in my team. But I've just got to get rid. I've got to get rid.
He's blanking and everything.
Absolutely awful, isn't it? So, guys, thank you very much for joining us this evening. As ever, we will look ahead to the fixtures, the shortened fixture list, because unless you've been living under a rock for the last few weeks, Chelsea, Everton, Man City and Brighton all don't play next weekend. So you've got to set your team up so that you have as many of those players on the bench as you can or not in your team, and set your team up with the 11 that are going to play. At the minute, how many have you got that are blanking in your team?
2.
So you've got 2 problems. Okay, I've only got Richarlison.
But I've got 2 free transfers. So
but 2 free transfers as well. All right, we'll talk about that a bit later on.
No problems.
So we'll talk about Game Week 27 transfers and captains. We will allude to a bit later on, and I've got some stuff from Ben Crellin a bit later on. And you guys, we've said it before, this is Ben Crellin season, at Ben Crellin on Twitter, doing some really, really great stuff around the blanks and the doubles. Go follow Ben. And I've done a crop of one of his tweets from earlier, which is just such a good and informative tweet that I just want to share it with you guys. And obviously we'll give Ben all the credit for that. Absolutely nothing coming from me, but absolutely
Lee loves
all
the
from Ben.
spreadsheet. He loves the spreadsheet.
And Ben's a very, very good indeed.
Potentially more than he loves me. I think he loves the spreadsheet.
No, I don't know about that, dear. Don't know about that. But we'll allude to strategy a bit later on. But we do need to focus on Game Week 27. Of course, there are polls as ever, guys. Click on the little eye in the top right hand corner.
Ooh,
5 questions for you this evening. The first one is about Game Week 27 captains. So get in there and talk about your captain picks as ever for a preview video. The second question comes from Josh. Thank you, Josh Telling. He's saying chip strategies.
Happy birthday. It's Josh's birthday yesterday.
Is it Josh's birthday yesterday?
Yesterday.
Happy belated birthday, Josh. Happy belated birthday. He is asking about chip strategies, of course. When are you planning to use them, if you still have them left at all? So there is a question there about when you're planning to play your free hit. 31, 32, 33.
Just panic.
I haven't got it anymore.
Maybe tomorrow.
Don't know. Giving up, etc., etc. Those are all the options. The next question comes from Scott Schrager, who's one of our patrons. Thank you, Scott, for joining us if you're here tonight. What week do you start taking differentials to make up rank, he's saying. So we're sort of getting to the point of the season where taking the odd, not ridiculous Peter Crouch style punt, but taking the odd...
Why is that ridiculous?
Okay, I'm trying to think of something a bit more ridiculous, but taking a real punt is...
Richarlison?
No. But getting in a sort of an educated guess, if you like, getting in a player that is, maybe on the cusp of something quite good. And I know that throughout the season, that is the art of FPL. That is what we're all here to try and do, isn't it? To try and get those differentials in before they become template picks. But Scott is asking, when does he start doing that? He wants to start making up rank. Is it now? Is it later? Is it 31, 32? So get in the polls. Help Scott out with that question. The next question comes from @asmoshe, ASMOSHE, Asmoshe. He says, Dear Sam, do you think Ashley Barnes is a good long-term pick since Burnley won't blank in 31 and 33? PS, love the streams. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Moshi. So Ashley Barnes, question about him in the polls.
Like that question.
And then @LexCats, LEXXKATZ, @LexCats is saying Kane or Kun for the run-in. Kane or Kun for the run-in. So who would you go, Kane or Aguero?
Is that even an actual question?
I think we know where you would go. But for you guys that are in the live chat and are getting in on the polls, hit the little eye, Kane or Kun for the run-in. And of course, there are other options as well. So you could choose neither, or you could choose somebody else, or both. I think I've put options in there as well. So get into the polls, and we will have a look at those at the end of the show. So let's have a look to see who's in. Let's see. Shuvik is here. How are you doing, Shuvik? Very nice to see you. Another Hoops is here. How are you doing, Another Hoops? Very good to see you. Charlie Hain. Josh Telling is in. Josh, happy belated birthday for yesterday. Josh, how are you doing? Charlie Hain is here. How are you doing? He says Rondon. One word, Rondon. I think that's when we were talking about educated guesses. Rondon, I think not a bad pick, by the way.
I don't think you ever need to say anything more about Rondon. Just Rondon is enough. Man's a hero.
Azzy is here. He's saying a Vertonghen punt. All right. Well, we will of course cover Spurs in a bit of detail a bit later on. Suraj is here. Ted01 is here. Alex Summerson, who is here and first in, I think. Alex, thank you for joining us. Hannah is here as ever. Anish. Dom J is here. Aaron Chen, who is one of our Patreons. Thank you for joining us, Aaron, for another live stream. Clacko is here. Mr. Finley Batter. Joe is around. How are you doing, Joe? Jeff is here as ever. Thank you very much for joining. Jeff and Joe both moderating for us this evening. Thank you, guys. Micah McClatchy, Scott Strager, who texted in with the question. Text in with the question? What is this, the mid-90s? Text in with a question?
We don't even have the technology to do that. We don't even have the technology to get people to text.
No one's texting FPL. No one's. Does anyone even text anymore? You kind of iMessage, don't you? But there's not really a text there.
Well, I text you.
Yeah, but it's iMessage. You message me, don't you? You don't text. You only text people that have got like really old Nokia 3310s like my dad.
Oh, I text your mum, don't I?
I text my mum. Yeah, we do text my mum on a 1930s phone.
Yeah, we don't know if it's been delivered either, do we? It doesn't come up with delivered.
I don't know if she's got it or not. Frankly,
who knows what's going on?
Mr. Jobs is here. Subhadri Dusa is here. Hello, Sam. Hello, Lee. He says, hello, how are you doing?
Hello.
Abdul Jr., Mr. Jobs. All of you guys. So thank you very much for joining us. As ever, on the left-hand side is our Twitter handle, at FPL Family on Twitter, if you're not following us there already. At FPL Family on Instagram as well.
Yeah, not so much the Facebook. I've been terrible with Facebook
Not
lately.
so much the Facebook.
I will do better.
Not so much the Facebook.
I tell you what, this random FA Cup break, I've not been very good with my social media.
Do you know what? I actually quite welcomed this break, and I said this to a few people on Twitter, earlier today and over the course of the last week. I've actually not been that active on Twitter for the last week or so.
No, nor have I.
And I wanted to take a bit of a step back. We're about to go into FPL overdrive, aren't we? We're about to go into FPL bonkers season.
Yeah, we are.
So to take a bit of a breather for the FA Cup 5th round was maybe not a bad idea. This is the quintessential calm before the storm, isn't it? The storm is absolutely coming. Starting with game week 27 and a fixture which is going to set us up for the next few weeks perfectly, I think. Which could be a shootout at Old Trafford. Liverpool travelling to Manchester United to Old Trafford to face Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's much improved Manchester United. Give us your views from an FPL perspective on that game, particularly as, I guess, like me, you've got quite a lot of players from both sides playing each other in that game.
From that game?
Yeah.
6.
It's tough, isn't it? It's tough. So give me your thoughts on the game and what you're doing FPL-wise to kind of get round that. Or you're not. You're just going head first into it.
I think I'm just going for it.
Playing all 6 and just cracking on?
I think so. Because I'm kind of in the position where I think both sides will score. So that means Firmino and Salah, Pogba and Rashford, they'll play, obviously.
Sure.
They could easily all get goals in that game, right? So fine, they can all play. The kind of quandary for me, I guess, is the 2 defenders, Robbo.
Was Rashford a bit of an injury down? Have I made that up?
I think he's all right. Wasn't he just rested for the?
He's all right, is he? Okay, maybe I don't know if I might have just made that up, but yeah. So you.
Well, even if he is injured, I don't think I've got any space to deal with him. So,
no, okay.
I'd have to take a hit to deal with him, so it would just be, yeah. So it's kind of what do I do with Lindelof and Robbo? Well, I think kind of certainly with Robertson, he could easily pop up with an assist, or more perhaps potentially. So he'll play. Lindelof, well, I guess I've got to have a little ponder on him, whether I bench him or play him.
Liverpool have looked a little bit susceptible to set pieces in recent times. I think Maguire scored against Liverpool for Leicester the other week. So yeah, I'm not going to go out here and say Lindelof is a great pick for this game week, but in a game week where we'll be looking to get 11 out, some people, and there's loads of blanks knocking about, then actually maybe Lindelof is not a terrible pick in against a team that has looked a little bit susceptible at set pieces. But I feel like I'm clutching at straws a little bit with Lindelof.
I can afford to bench him. I won't have. by the time the game week starts, all of my 15 will be playing in the game week. So it's not the end of the world. I can afford to drop him to the bench.
Give me your thoughts on how United played in the last time we watched them, which would have been in the Champions League, I believe. So,
or the PSG game.
It was against Paris, and I'm trying to think, and they've got Sunday night itis tonight. I can't think of the players that went off. Martial got injured,
yeah,
as well as Pogba got sent off, but Jesse Lingard got injured. And I noticed that actually, and you guys are saying it in the live chat, once Martial and Lingard went off, and they brought on Alexis Sanchez and somebody else without a lot of pace, that speed, that in-behindness that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been so successful with so far was just down to Rashford. And I think if you're Paris, and I think if you're Liverpool, I think if you're any team, you can deal with one player trying to get in behind. When they've got Martial and Rashford and a lot of others trying to do the same thing, it becomes a lot more difficult. I think it was Mata actually that came on maybe. So for all of their tricks and skills, Mata and Sanchez and players like that, they lack that pace. They lack that pace and that dynamism that Lingard gives them, and that pace that Martial gives them. And they looked far, far less dangerous, frankly, when those two went off. So do you think that gives Liverpool a bit of a boost ahead of that game? Because I think I've seen reports that those two are not expected to be fit.
No, I think that's right. I don't think Liverpool need a boost going into that game, really. I mean, it's a massive game. You're up for that game regardless of what happens. You're playing, it's your opportunity to go back top of the league again. I don't think that there's anything that Man United could do or not do that would make a difference to your preparation for the game. I don't think it makes much difference. I think what's really interesting for me with this game is that when you look at the statistics behind just the midfield players in the game, and you look at like the top of the, we sit here a lot and talk about the likes of Sonny, but actually it's the Liverpool and the Man United assets, the likes of Pogba and Salah and Mane, that are dominating all of those fixtures. So I'm looking at that game expecting it to be quite high scoring, but without those key players, the likes of, like you were saying, without the likes of Lingard going through the middle there, it might just slow United down, and therefore maybe might make them less dynamic, I suppose. Do
you think there's a chance he sticks Rashford back out wide and maybe plays Lukaku?
Maybe, yeah.
I think there's a chance of that.
Maybe. It depends, doesn't it? I think it's hard because when the injuries were happening in the Champions League, they were in a very different position to what they will be starting the game against Liverpool. So it's hard to make those changes when the game's already in flow and when you're already behind, I guess.
All right, well, let's see what you guys are saying. James Morgan is saying that when United played against Spurs, United flattered to deceive. Spurs should have beaten them comfortably, and that Liverpool will tear them apart. I mean, I'm not sure about that. I think it's going to be closer than you think, James, but I like your confidence. Josh is saying, I agree, Lukaku will play up top and Rashford on the wing. Yeah, we spoke about that, so I think that looks as if that could happen. FPL Chancer, Dan is here. How you doing, Dan? Man United Liverpool will surely produce goals, as you're saying, Sam. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows that rivalry. They'll go out with all guns blazing.
Yeah.
And I think that is his mentality, isn't it, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? And we know what Liverpool's mentality is all about. It is what it is. They've been playing like it for a number of months now. But the new United on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer isn't the sort of sit-back, frustrate sort of team that Mourinho used to put out with Fellaini up front, right? So I'm with Dan. I think there could be goals in that for sure.
Well, everything that I wrote down in my notes for this game was about the goal scorers. So it was like, in terms of shots on target, Salah has got the most shots on target in the midfielders over the last four game weeks. So he's had 15, Mane with 30. Pogba with 17. He was the most. Shots on target, though, Salah with 7, Mane with 8, Pogba with 6. Everything about this suggests it's going to be a high-scoring game. Suggests there's lots of goals in it, because I think... Sorry, I just banged the mic.
Do you think the Liverpool defence will be better, though, given that Trent will be back, given that Van Dijk isn't going to play in the Champions League? So, not that he needs a rest, potentially, Van Dijk, but he's going to get one. Trent's back. Matip is probably still going to be there.
Part of me wonders whether, when you look, because sometimes when you get a big game like Man United and Liverpool, and you look at the stats and everything about it and everything that's been going on with those two teams over the last few weeks, suggests it's going to be high scoring. But I actually just don't see huge goals in this game. I think it will be more because both sides will want to win it, and sometimes that means you get a slightly more cagey game because Liverpool wants to go back top of the league.
So you just said that you can see loads of goals in it. Now it's going to be cagey.
No, but it should be. What I'm saying is it should be. All the stats, everything else says it should be a very high goal scoring game. Right. It should be 3-2, 3-3, 3-2, 3-3, something like that. But then there's part of my brain that goes, but does it end up being the cagey affair like Dan was saying that Man United and Spurs was? Because you've got two decent teams playing each other and they counteract each other. I don't know. It's really interesting, but I'm going to play all my assets anyway, I think.
All right, okay. Well, Suraj is in tonight. Thank you for commenting, Suraj. He says, stats go out the window when it comes to United Liverpool.
Yeah,
Ollie will be up for it. It'll just be a one-off game. And he says, don't take offence, Stato Sam. Of course you don't take offence. He's just saying, the stats go out the window. It's Liverpool versus United.
But it's like we were saying about derbies, right? We talk about London derbies and you read the stats and you look at what should happen. But
absolutely.
In a London derby and in a derby like Liverpool and Man United,
absolutely,
anything goes.
And United are going to have the best part of a week's rest. I know they're playing Chelsea in the Cup tomorrow, but Liverpool have then got Bayern on the Tuesday. It is Bayern at home, so there's not so much travelling involved, which is good. So for me, it could go either way. I think the key for me from a Liverpool perspective is that let's see how that game against Bayern on Tuesday goes. I personally think that we'll do all right against Bayern. I looked at some of Bayern's recent results, and actually they've not kept a clean sheet for a very long time in the Bundesliga. Very good at scoring goals, mind you. They regularly get 3 or 4.
Yeah, but look at us against the Germans,
Totally, yeah, totally.
Take heart from it.
And you came up against the best in Germany.
We're heroes,
so
right?
there it is. So that game, United versus Liverpool, it's a tough one to call just because of the stature and the nature of the game. I must admit, and I know this is going to come back to haunt me, but I feel reasonably confident going into the game.
Say it.
Well, I do, and I think Trent being back is going to be a massive boost. I think Van Dijk's going to obviously not play in midweek, so he's going to play in that game. And I fancy Van Dijk to have a decent game against Lukaku, if it is Lukaku that plays, right?
I think the other thing to say, just before we move on from that, maybe is to just have a quick word on Mane, because we've kind of not really mentioned him. But yeah,
good form for Mane, yeah?
Yeah, so over the last 4 game weeks, he's in his most consistent run of form. Scored Palace, Leicester, West Ham, Bournemouth, joint top for goals with Pogba in those last 4 game weeks. I've forever all season said you can't match Salah with Mane, you can't match. But actually, this is the first time where you really can, and it's just interesting to see whether in this game against Man, because they've been the games that you played with respect to Palace, Leicester, West Ham and Bournemouth. They've not been against a big side like Man United, so it'll be interesting for me watching Mane to see whether that form can continue against Man United.
I'd certainly be keeping an eye on him because at some stage I'm going to be free hitting, right? Be free hitting in either 31 or 32. And if I do end up free hitting in 31, clearly one of the teams you want to go big on 31 is Liverpool. You want 3 Liverpool.
Yeah.
And against, I think it's Fulham in 31, you probably... Is there an option to even go Salah, Mane and Firmino against Fulham? Potentially you could, if you're free hitting in 31, which I really don't know whether I'm going to do that yet. But more on that a bit later on. Let's go elsewhere. And a few of you guys, Azzy is saying, no Virgil against Bayern. That's a worry. It is, Azzy. You're absolutely right. Mafio Sol, Lee, aren't you worried about our defence versus Bayern? I am. 100% am without Virgil van Dijk. I think Bayern will score on Tuesday. I think they'll score at Anfield, which is a big problem. But I do fancy us to get goals against them as well. So it could be a good game. Let's go all the way back to the Friday then and talk about West Ham versus Fulham. A lot of people looking at Felipe Anderson back in for that game, given that West Ham's fixtures don't look too bad going forward. Fulham, the whipping boys, Le Marchand and Tim Ream, as well documented on these live streams, a chaotic back two is the only word I can describe them. Is very chaotic. And I fear for them in the upcoming Liverpool game, I really do. But West Ham at home to Fulham, give us your thoughts on the game. Is Arnautovic back yet? Is he back in the frame? And if he is, would you consider him?
No, I have no idea what's going on with Arnautovic. I don't know what's going on in that man's head. I don't know what's going on with his injuries. He seems to come back, then he's out again, then he's back again, then he's going to China, then he's not going to China. It's too much. It's too much. I'm saying well away from Arnautovic.
Felipe Anderson, though?
Yeah, so it's tough because West Ham's fixtures are actually nice coming up. They've got a much better run starting with this Fulham game. Anderson, it's a real anomaly to me, and I don't really know what to do about it because he when he returns amazing. But then he'll often have games where he plays well, and you watch him and you think you've been really unlucky that you've not scored. But then that I felt that way for about 4 or 5 game weeks on the trot, and it's like, well, how long do you sit there and say, that it's okay for him to be taking up 7, whatever it is, of your budget.
He's another good one to have, though, if you're going for the free hit in 32, because West Ham play in 31.
Yeah.
So if you want a player for 31, and you've got somebody stinking up your team like Richarlison to Anderson is absolutely a transfer that I'm considering this week, considering it pretty heavily as well. And I know that Felipe Anderson hasn't been showing a hell of a lot of form recently, but I do have a bit of a theory, and I said this before, about Anderson playing on the TV. I do think he's a bit of a TV Charlie. He likes being in front of the cameras, and I believe that West Ham game is on TV on Friday night.
I can't remember which it is.
I think it is.
Joe will tell you. You'll know if it's Watford.
I'm pretty sure. Sorry, Joe, they wouldn't put Cardiff Watford on. I'm pretty sure it's West Ham versus Fulham.
Can't just have a go.
It's a London derby. West Ham versus Fulham, a London derby. So if that game is on TV, I fancy Anderson even more.
You can't just get him in because it might be on the TV.
Well, listen, we're getting to a point of the season where I'm up for taking a few punts. When I tell you who I probably am going to get in for Richarlison, it might give you even more of a headache. But West Ham versus Fulham, Felipe Anderson, a good pick in my opinion, a good pick. Simply because, yes, against Fulham, fantastic in 27, and also very good in 31, as long as he doesn't get injured, of course. And then, of course, you free hit him out in 32 if you want, but he plays in 31, which is absolutely key. Any more thoughts on West Ham versus Fulham? I'm assuming we're not talking about any Fulham assets.
What did I write? Yeah.
You didn't write very much by the looks of it.
West Ham, they've only scored 5 goals between game weeks 20 and 26, but they've conceded 11.
Right.
And I wrote Fulham have lost 4 of the last 6 games.
Right.
Neither team inspires me, basically, so I wrote nothing of importance.
Neither's inspiring. And Fulham, of course, are one of those teams that play in 31. However, they play Liverpool. So it's...
And I've got 3 Liverpool.
Very difficult to get excited about Fulham right now. Burnley versus Spurs, then Saturday, the 23rd of February, lunchtime kickoff. How are you feeling about that? A little renaissance from Burnley lately, and of course that has been largely due to the fact that Mr. Tom Heaton is back between the sticks, and Joe Hart has rapidly made way and is probably never going to see the light of day at Turf Moor again. So Burnley's suddenly starting to look like a half-decent team. But of course Spurs in fine form, and of course Son in fine form. Give us your thoughts very, very briefly on the Champions League, because we haven't spoken to the guys since Spurs absolutely did Dortmund over 3-0, which is an incredible result. I'm beginning to wonder whether Son is actually a robot. The guy comes out every week and just, not every week, but I'm knackered, I'm exhausted, I can't play, and Poch is like, get out there, get me a goal, win this game, and he just does it. He's phenomenal against Dortmund, wasn't he? Absolutely phenomenal.
Do you know what? I just like to give him a cuddle. I would just like to give him a cuddle.
He plays with a smile on his face.
Such a hero.
Yeah. And give me your thoughts on Son captain as well this week as well.
He's my captain this week.
You're going to captain Son. I totally thought that was going to happen.
I am going to captain Son.
Away at Burnley, who have been resolute recently.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but last season, so in the same fixture last season, we won 2-0. Sonny scored.
Okay.
The season before, we won 3-0. Kane got a hat trick. There's rumour that he's back.
Okay.
He's back.
I haven't seen anything to suggest that he's back. Is he going to be back for
There's
that game?
some rumours.
Okay, all right. Wasim is saying, Son captain, legend, FPL Chancellor, Son captain, let's do this.
Yeah.
Hashtag Coys. Will Vertonghen play left wing back more often now that he's resembling Marcelo, Lachlan is saying.
Vertonghen will just play everywhere.
FPL Nimfrey, how you doing, Nim? I'd like to cuddle Sonny as well. There must be something about him.
But going back to Vertonghen, they said in the interview after the game, didn't they? Vertonghen was like, yeah, I'm up for playing up front if I'm needed. Like he'll literally just play wherever he's told to play, that man.
Okay.
And look really good there. So yeah, I think there is a chance that if we ever sort of a left back, he'll be the best.
Andrew Yee is in. He's saying Sam is captaining Son, so therefore I will be captaining Son. Liam Rist is saying Son is good, but he's no Gabbiadini.
How is Gabbiadini getting on in Italy? Does anyone know?
Who cares? Liam will know. Liam will know.
It's
Charlie King. Charlie, thank you for joining. He said Liam has since retracted that message. I don't know if you've seen it.
Why?
They just were
changed his mind.
Now that we've read it out, Liam's like, no, I realise that it's complete nonsense. He's saying he scored today. Goodness me, he scored today. All right.
Did he really?
Very good.
I think we should have Gabbiadini watch. Liam should just come on every stream and tell us what Gabbiadini's been up to.
So there we go. So let's talk a bit more about. Let's finish up on this Burnley versus Spurs. And I assume you're going for an away win.
Yeah, I mean the Pope's still Catholic, right?
Right. Okay. Very good. I think it's going to be a harder game than you think, that game. But I am backing Spurs for a win. I just think Burnley have been great recently, right? I mean, since Heaton's been back, they are pretty good at keeping clean sheets. how are you feeling about having more than one Spurs asset in that game?
Well, I've got given two.
That you've got Hugo Lloris, of course, as well. Yeah. So given that Spurs, let me get this right, don't play in 31.
Well, then they'll have a double for Captain Kane.
You've got the double in 32, I think. But given that you don't play in 31, how are you feeling about having Son and Lloris? Have you got a keeper that can come in 31?
No.
And he's... Oh, okay. You haven't either?
No.
Okay. Thoughts?
Deal with it when we get there.
This is why I love playing FPL with you, because all this Ben Krellin and forward planning and blank game weeks and stuff, as I was coming on, I was just like, so what's your free hit chip strategy? What you planning to do? You were just like,
that's it.
I don't know. I'll do it when I get. I'm not worried about it.
That's my strategy, right? I've just written down the teams at blank. That's it.
But you're going to build a spreadsheet where you're going to morph players through space and time, aren't you? What was it you were going to do?
Yeah, but don't you remember I did it last year? This is how I did it last year, and I had each of the game weeks, and then I plotted out my transfers so that I could get to the game week and have 11 players in the free hit without free hitting. And that's probably the way it's going to go this time, so that I can keep my free hit for the later game.
Okay,
week.
Very good. All right. Simon Robertson is here. He's saying hello from Brazil. The clock's changed last night here, so we can join us. Thank you, Simon. Thanks for joining us. Let's go to... So you're thinking of captaining Son this weekend. I think a lot of people will be looking to Arsenal, actually, to captain one of the Arsenal assets against Southampton in that game on Sunday afternoon. So
apart from the people that transferred Aubameyang out for Aguero.
Yeah, but there's a bit of hokey-cokey going on. I think people are looking to get Aubameyang back for Aguero, potentially. Yeah,
but there was a lot of people that... There's like 160,000 people that since the last game week have transferred Aubameyang out to Aguero.
Really?
160,000.
It actually doesn't surprise me at all. Give me your thoughts on the game. Do you think that's a straightforward win for Arsenal? Southampton last time out, bad result against Cardiff. We'll talk about Cardiff in a second because they've had back-to-back wins. Bad result for the Saints against Cardiff. Going to Arsenal will be a very tricky game indeed. Give me your thoughts on the game.
It will, but I think Arsenal will win the game, but I don't think it will be an easy victory because Southampton have been more robust lately. I know that they had a bad result last time, but I think that will just spur them a bit more. Also, Arsenal have got no real defence to speak of still, as far as I can work out. I can't see any signs of returns for injury.
I don't see Southampton being prolific up front though. Without Danny Ings, they look a bit blunt, don't they? Nathan Redmond looks to be their key source of danger, which is a bit of a problem for the Saints, isn't it?
Well, their key source of danger, their key attacking asset is James Ward-Prowse, isn't he? In terms of like,
no,
yeah, he is in terms of creativity and threat. If you look at him, he's double that of Redmond over the last couple of game weeks. So for me, I'd be expecting Southampton to give him a good game. I expect Southampton to not fold.
Arsenal clean sheet?
No.
No, don't be ridiculous.
No. Arsenal. When was the last time Arsenal kept a clean sheet? I don't.
They were very close last time against Huddersfield, as Kolasinac owners will tell you. But so you think home win for Arsenal versus Southampton?
Yes, I do. I think Arsenal win the game, but I think Southampton will score a goal.
And give me your thoughts on Aubameyang versus Lacazette. Then I think we've covered this a little bit in the last live stream, so we're not going to go too much detail. But the last time we streamed, I think literally an hour before that, Arsenal had just played against Bate Borisov. No, they hadn't. We did an Ohana podcast. We did an Ohana podcast, and we were talking about Arsenal versus Bate.
Oh yeah,
Lacazette just got sent. He just got sent off because he flung an elbow round. So, given that he's not now going to play in the return leg against Bate, he's got to play Aubameyang then, isn't he? And they need to win that game now because they're 1-0 down. So he's got to play probably Aubameyang for 90 minutes against Bate. As an Aubameyang owner, I'm worried about that. I'm worried about that for Sunday. Because I think that he's going to reduce his minutes.
I still maintain that I think Lacazette is a better pick because he enables you to have more money to spend elsewhere and he is more clinical with the fewer chances that he gets. So yeah, for me, as an Aubameyang, if I was an Aubameyang owner, I would be worried about the fact that they need to win that Champions League game, and therefore they need Aubameyang to play because Lacazette can't.
Okay.
It would worry me slightly. I still think Aubameyang's going to play that game, but I also think Lacazette is now to play that game now.
Yes, me too. But I do still feel like Aubameyang is the I still think he's the best option for captain this game. I might be wrong about that, but I still think that...
More than Sonny?
More than Sonny, yeah. I think that'll be tough for you going to Turf Moor. I still think you'll win, but I think it'll be a very tough game for you. Whereas I think Southampton on their day can ship a few goals, and Arsenal on their day can absolutely score a few. So it needs to be... They both need to have the right day. But absolutely Arsenal could and should win that game, and I'm backing Aubameyang to do quite well in that game. I flipping hope he does, because... the whole I'm holding on to him and not getting Aguero for Aguero's back-to-back hat-tricks. I've stuck with Aubameyang for this long through the sniffles and everything. He needs to start returning some points. Otherwise, that is going to be a major turning point in my FPL season. Let's talk about Newcastle versus Huddersfield then, and a player that's caught my eye, and I talked about this with our patrons earlier in the week on our Ohana podcast. Miguel Almiron, who's the new player that's coming from the MLS for a record transfer fee for Newcastle. So Mike Ashley has opened his wallet. The money has come.
It's a miracle.
It is a miracle. Every Newcastle fan has picked themselves up off the floor and realised that they might actually have a half-decent player here. He played 18 minutes in the last game week and Match of the Day managed to put a little 2 minutes highlights package of him together out of 18 minutes. So he obviously come on and wants to make an impression. The people that I've been speaking to that play the FPL game with the MLS say that he is a fantasy legend, right? This guy gets assists, he gets goals, he takes the odd free kick as well. There's some YouTube videos of him taking some really nice direct free kicks. Now, at Newcastle, that tends to be Matt Ritchie right now. When was the last time, can you remember Matt Ritchie really scored any great free kicks? I mean, I might be wrong about this, Newcastle fans, but Matt Ritchie is not in my head a premium direct free kick taker.
No.
So Almiron may come in and be a direct free kicks. I don't know. Penalties even maybe. I know Rondon's on them at the minute. I think Shelvey takes them as well. So I think we'd be pretty lucky if he was on penalties. But at 6.0 in the game, FPL have put him in at 6.0. He's absolutely on my radar as a Richarlison replacement. So give me your thoughts on Newcastle, given that they also play Bournemouth away in 31. So Newcastle looking like they could be a source of one or two decent players ahead of the next few weeks.
Do you know, so when we recorded the Ohana podcast, I was like, what are you talking about? And then he was talking about this, and I thought, well, it kind of makes sense. I'm going to do a little bit of reading, see if I can find some little videos of him in the MLS. But the more you read it, the more it actually doesn't sound that bonkers. And then I worry that I'm like, hang on a minute, this is Lee's idea. He's come up with this player, and now I think it's a good idea. And then the 31 thing comes back at you because you think, well,
they could do well against Bournemouth, right? Bournemouth can't defend, as we know.
For sure. And then that would give me another, so I'd be creeping up towards the full team playing without playing my free hit.
The other thing in my head is that, and sorry to interrupt you, but the other thing in my head, because I'm quite keen on Almiron, in case you haven't realised, the other thing in my head is that, and people are saying it on Twitter, Benitez is not a 4-5-6-0 player. Newcastle never smash teams. They're 1 or 2-0, 2-1. So even if you have him, is he ever going to get more than one goal? I've got to believe that Benitez is looking at this next run of games and thinking, I've got to win these games.
Yeah.
I've got to win these games, otherwise I'm in big trouble. And they are. And he's got to be looking at those fixtures and thinking, I've got to win these games. So he's gone to the board, he's gone, right, get me a player that's going to get me goals, get me assists, that's going to help Rondon as well, which is something to consider, guys. I think Rondon could really benefit from the introduction of Almiron. Benitez, as I said, I need a player that's going to... I need somebody to get me more goals. I need someone to help Rondon up there. So I think he's been bought in for very good money. That it's rare that Ashley puts his hand in his pocket at all. Never mind for a few million quid like for this guy. I think Benitez has got him earmarked to go out there and win games for him. I genuinely do. I think he's a good pick. And I've got nothing other than YouTube videos and some hearsay to go on.
But the thing is,
I feel like it's worth a punt.
You look at this fixture coming up for 27. They're playing Huddersfield, who have not won a game in 13 game weeks. Since the end of November, they've not won a game. In that time, they've only actually got 1 point. 1 point since the 25th of November. And that was versus Cardiff, who are equally as terrible.
So Huddersfield are the whipping boys, there's no doubt.
They've only scored 5 goals. They've conceded 25 in that period of time. Yeah. So I'm looking at that Newcastle team thinking, they play in 31. That's something to definitely like. They're playing Huddersfield next. That's something to definitely like. And I would really, 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 really like a cheeky punt on Rondon, but how do I do it? Because I can't lose Rashford.
No.
I can't lose Jimenez. And I don't really want to lose Firmino because Firmino's looking good for me in terms of the lack of blanks and all of that malarkey.
I think for me, it's going to probably come down to tomorrow, right? So if Chelsea beat Manchester United in the FA Cup, Everton and Chelsea will play in game week 31. So therefore, we'll have more options. I might not need someone like Almiron to come in.
I might need to lose Richarlison.
Might want to hold Richarlison.
Oh, no!
But if
oh God, you can't hold Richarlison anymore. You can't. Look, you'll have to go to Siggy. You'll have to.
I don't know. But listen, but if the stars align and actually Richarlison is not going to play in game week 31 or indeed 27, then he's gone. And Almiron could absolutely come in and do a job.
Part of me really wants Richarlison to be playing just to see what you're going to do.
Let's see what you guys are saying about Almiron. Am I bonkers to be thinking about this guy? He's only just turned up. He's played 18 minutes. I'm thinking about him in the FPL team. Liam Rist, Almiron's going to supply Rondon. So I think the combination of the two is going to be good, I think. Sabadri is saying Almiron is great. He just needs time. Considering the good fixtures ahead, he will shine. Let's see what else. Rondon could do serious bits against Huddersfield. Chancellor is saying FPL Chancellor. Ian Barrett, I play Fantasy MLS. The dude was in and captain every single time in Fantasy MLS. Almiron. Wazim Karodia saying Almiron's price, he is 6 million, as Charlie King and James Morgan, thank you guys, are saying he is 6 million in FPL. Josh saying Almiron is absolutely rapid. Surab, Almiron's an exciting talent. Here we go, guys. It's on. Absolutely thinking about it.
Now I want to do this as well. That really worries me.
Andrew Roper, will you do a live stream when you eventually transfer out Richarlison? Game week 38. I'll be getting rid of him and we'll do a live stream.
Honestly.
Scott Schrager.
What's going to happen here at some point is I'm going to steal Lee's phone and I'm going to transfer him out.
Scott Schrager, there. Lee said it. Keep him Richarlison. Goodness me. I'm pretty sure I'm not.
We're going to come to the game week 27 deadline. Lee's going to post his team and there's going to be Richarlison still sat there.
Last team to talk about, Sam, from FPL Family, before we talk about teams and bus teams and all that sort of stuff. And we do a little bit about Ben Crellin's spreadsheet for the blanks.
Yeah.
Leicester City. So Leicester City are a team that play in game week 31. Not only that, but they have a reasonable fixture against Burnley away. I think that's tough, actually. It's tough. But they do play, and they play at home to Crystal Palace in game week 27. So what are your thoughts on the Leicester City assets? Ricardo Pereira, I think, was a player that caught your eye last time I spoke to you. Still thinking about transferring him in?
Yes.
Okay, good. For who? Dina, I guess?
Yes. Yeah, that's happening. That's 100% happening.
Okay. Thoughts on anybody else in Leicester? Madison being very creative recently?
No. He's my Richarlison. He's never coming back again.
Very creative at the moment, James Madison.
No.
I think you could do a lot worse than him.
No, but the other thing is that, remember I was saying to you, I need to downgrade Sané in order to upgrade Firmino to Kane. And therefore I need the money. So yeah, I think I'm going to go... Well, I am going to go with Pereira. I also looked at PVA. If you look at PVA's stats recently...
We've gone to Palace.
They're playing Palace.
Yeah, go on then, yeah, okay. I thought we were going Leicester, but go on
then. No, because I'm talking about defenders I've been looking at. So when you said I'd looked at anybody else, Pereira, I think he's the one I'm going to do. But PVA I've been looking at now kind of feels a bit backwards because I've already had him. Like, I feel like I've been there with him already.
You got Wan-Bissaka as well?
And I've got Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah, okay.
But PVA's creativity stats have gone through the roof in the last 3 game weeks.
Right.
23, 24, 4 game weeks. 23 to 26. They've gone. It's ridiculous. So he's had created 10 chances, 4 big chances. It's more than any other defender. He's creating a chance for a teammate every 36 minutes.
Is he really?
Yeah.
What, in the last 4 game weeks?
In the last 4 game weeks. It is ridiculous, the stats on PVA. So you kind of look at that game and
Did he play today in the FA Cup? I didn't see whether he did or not. Don't know.
I don't know. I didn't notice. I was just hoping that they would lose. So
I was too worried about blank game weeks and double game weeks. I wasn't worried about whether Palace won or not.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So in terms of performances at the moment for defenders, he's one to look at.
All right. Okay. Just to finish up on Leicester, I appreciate what FPL Chancellor Dan is saying. You know, Leicester make him nervous. Doesn't want any of their players while Puel is there. I'm with you on that, Dan. I'm with you. I still think Pereira, of all of them, is the pick.
I do too.
I still think he's the pick. If you want to go ultra rogue, I like the look of Harvey Barnes as well. The player that they've recalled from low. I think he's at West Brom, and they've called him back, so they obviously need him and want him. He's obviously going to get game time. Actually, I have no idea how he got on at West Brom, so if somebody can look that up and tell us.
No, but he was decent against Spurs and should have got a couple.
He was decent. Josh Telling is saying, yes, PVA did play today. He did play today. So Harvey Barnes looks all right. Jamie Vardy... He's a good differential, but I don't remember the last time I watched Vardy and just thought, you had an amazing game there. And I think that goes back to Dan's point about Leicester as a team just don't fill you with much. Like you want to double up on them, like you want Pereira and Maddison or Pereira and Vardy. That would be a bit overkill in my opinion. So Pereira's the one, I think. Pereira's the one.
If it wasn't for the fact that they weren't blanking, I wouldn't get any of them.
Yeah, and I think I read a piece, and I think Azzy's saying it, Chilwell's going to make himself an option. I did read a piece, I think it was an FF Scout or somebody else, where Chilwell is posting some pretty similar stats to Pereira on the other side. It's just that Pereira's getting the FPL points. Right. So Chilwell, look out for him. Everyone's going to be piling onto Pereira, but just keep an eye on Chilwell. He could do well. He could do well in this run of fixtures for Leicester, which are brilliant, by the way, for something like 10 game weeks. Leicester look fantastic. And of course, they don't blank in game week 31. They can't blank now for the rest of the season. So Pereira is a very solid pick indeed. Very solid pick. So there we go, guys. Those are the fixtures. Cardiff and Watford. Whatever. Ben Foster clean sheet. Let's go with it.
I wrote down. What did I write
You've
down?
You've got 42, so probably 35 seconds now.
Ben Foster has got you 3 clean sheets in the last 4 game weeks.
The guy's a hero. Absolute hero, Sam.
It explains to me why I feel like I spend my whole life with you going.
Yeah. So I've got a big decision. So I've got him and Fabianski in nets. So I've got Fabianski at home to Fulham. I've got Foster away at Cardiff. Stick with my hero, or do I go? I've got to go Fabianski, haven't you? Got to go Fabianski.
Yeah, because Cardiff.
I think so, wouldn't you?
Cardiff are a little bit better at the moment. The whole Salah thing. I'd go, and Watford don't have Holebas at the moment either, do they? Suspended. So I'd go with Fabianski.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Yeah.
All right, so those are the fixtures, guys. There's only a handful, so we're going to miss 2 fixtures. So Chelsea, City, Brighton, Everton, all not playing. And of course, that means that they will play somewhere down the line. There's loads of blanks, loads of doubles coming up. And there's one thing that I just wanted to share with you guys, and I've got it lined up here. So this is... we've mentioned before, so this is going to blow your mind, Sam from FPL Family.
My tiny brain has just exploded.
And there will be tons of people on the live chat that have seen this and think it's amazing and totally understand it. And there'll be people in the live chat that have never seen this before.
I love this. Sorry to stop you, but I love the comment that Tim Ream
Ream ain't scoring past Fabianski. No, I would actually back Fabianski to score past Tim Ream. But I wouldn't fancy it the other way around.
Keepsney did score earlier, didn't he?
So this is at Ben Krellin. So if you're not following him already, go do it, right? He writes these spreadsheets. They are flipping awesome. They're all colour-coded. And this will give you a feel, well, more than a feel. It will tell you directly who's playing where and what the double game weeks look like or could look like. So listen, I'm not about to go through this line by line and tell you which players I fancy from each team, right? But just know... a nice comment that I saw on this tweet from somebody else. It wasn't from Ben, but somebody else commented that actually if you are going to plan for game week 31 now, because so say you wanted to play your free hit in 32, right? So look at all those amazing fixtures in 32, loads and loads of players that you'd want that you might not have in your team. So free hit for 32 would be a really offensive way of playing it, wouldn't it? Be you going on the attack to go and get maximum points you can from 32. Well, if you do that, you can't then play the free hit chip in 31. So what you've got to do between now and 31 is plan to have as many 31 players as possible, right? And if you can get 7 or 8 or 9 out that game week, good. I think that's probably a good position to be in versus a lot of other people. Now, bear with me a second. So if you're doing that and you're planning for 31, you're also inadvertently kind of planning for 33 as well, because if you look at the sort of teams that play in 31, a lot of them are also playing in 33 as well. The bottom 5, indeed, also playing 33. So if you're planning to get as many of those game week 31 players as you can, and then you're free hitting in 32, so it doesn't matter what your team looks like. By the time all the dross comes back into game week 33, you should be reasonably set, because you're going to have your Liverpool players. You're probably going to have Pereira. I might have Fraser. There'll be somebody else in there. Arsenal, Southampton are playing, so Aubameyang might be in there. Somebody like Ward-Prowse or Bednarek. Get a game out of Bednarek. So actually, my current thinking on this, guys, and this is all completely fluid, and that would be my one piece of advice right now, is just to keep your chip strategy fluid, because so much can happen. Doherty got injured today, right? Don't think it's a bad one. No, he picked up a bit of a knock. So he got a thumbs up but things like that are going to happen, right? So have your strategy, but keep it fluid. Me, right now, I'm happy with my team in 27. It's only Richarlison that's not playing right now, and he's going to probably go for Almiron or Maddison.
No, he's not.
Yeah, I think he is. So he's going to go. So I can get a team out for 27. I'm cool with that. I don't like it. Got a lot of Liverpool playing Man United. I don't like it, but I can get a team out. Game week 31, I think I'm just going to go with as many as I can. And if I can get 8 or 7 or 8 or 9 out on the pitch, I'll be happy with that. Then I'll free hit in 32. Then all of those 31ers are going to come back in 33. And then I'll probably wildcard in 35 to maximise 35. But a lot's going to happen between now and
just
then.
Just to throw another curveball at you.
Go on.
I am seriously pondering triple captain in Salah in 31.
Why?
To counteract the fact that I won't have a full team of players. And it's a nice fixture.
Sure, but okay.
So he's got a nice fixture where he could easily score a few. The only thing that's put me off, and that was my strategy all the way through until Palace won today. And then I realised that Harry Kane's going to have a double game week, and it put me off because I've always said
you've got to use a triple captain on a double game week, surely.
Well, maybe, I don't know. I mean, amount of people that used it on Sané in game week, whatever game week that was, 20, whatever it was, 25.
Yeah, but they thought he was going to get a double, right?
Well, he did have a double, but he only played once, and he got 1 point.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. You play your triple captain in someone that you think is going to get a double. The fact that Sané didn't is completely unlucky, and no one expected it, right?
But in a player like Salah, he has just as much potential in a single game week to score as much as others do in a double.
Salah versus Fulham could be very good. Could be very good. You're absolutely right.
So it was just until the Spurs game was called off or postponed. It was something I was seriously pondering. Was if I can get as many players out as possible and use my transfers wisely between now and 31, so that I've got pretty much a full 11 ready for that game week.
Yeah.
Then that would set me up well for game week 33 as well. Free hit in 32. Then when am I playing my bench boost? Because I want to play that in a double game week ideally. So then when am I playing my triple captain? Well...
Okay. All right. Well, listen, Salah could do very well against Fulham. He could do very well in game week 36, as some of you guys are saying there, versus Huddersfield. Liam Riss is saying Salah, if you're going to play Salah in a single game week and triple captain him, Huddersfield at home, I think it's at home, surely is better in 36.
I mean, you just got to look for a nice fixture. I think if you want to play it in a single game week, it's got to be in a fixture where you think, yeah, there's potential there for more than 2.
Okay, all right, okay. You've got to look out for, as you guys are saying, loads of good points in the live chat, guys. Keep them coming, because I know for some of you this is going to hurt your brain, right? This hurts my brain. I've been thinking about it all day. But hopefully, there's some value in us putting this on there, and absolutely there's value in you guys following Ben on Twitter, because this is the point in the season, like I said before, where the proper management comes into it, right? If you up until now, you need a big slice of luck in FPL, big slice of luck. But when it comes to now, it's about planning and getting your players in at the right time, using your chips at the right time. So I know this is going to be hurting a lot of people's brains, right? But see if you can get your head around it, if you can understand when to use your chips and have a strategy that you can keep fluid. It's absolutely a good thing to do. Absolutely a good thing to do. Let's see what you guys are saying in the live chat, because there's some great comments going on. Some great comments. Let's see. The only thing with making all these transfers is losing some of the team value, Jason Stilling is saying, which is absolutely a fair point. Absolutely a fair point. I think for me, we're getting to a point in the season where team value is possibly... Well, it is less important to me than points at this stage of the season, but I do take your point, Jason.
Because your wildcard's going to kill that anyway at some point.
Possibly, yeah, possibly. I feel like if I was to wildcard right now, don't know if I'd make many changes, to be honest with you.
Either.
I think Pogba Rashford would probably have to stay. I think Salah Robbo would have to stay. So, I don't know. I'd get some City in for sure.
Would you?
Well, obviously not right now, but I feel like my team is missing City right now, given they blank. I'm fine with it, but they're probably going to have, according to Ben's spreadsheet, a pretty nice double game week 32 where they play Fulham and United. Now look, the Fulham game is great. The Man United game doesn't on paper look that great, but we know what City can do.
Yeah, it's a derby.
We can see what City have done, right? We thought they'd have a tough game against Chelsea, and Aguero absolutely smashed it, right? So, listen, that Man City double in Fulham, that Fulham and Man United game, that's looking very, very good indeed for Man City players. Sonny, game week 36, triple captain, Nimfria is saying. There we go. There's your triple captain. Son in game week 36. That's when you should be playing it.
Oh, if it's going on Spurs, it's definitely going to go on Kane, but I am really tempted. I'm really tempted on Salah.
Mark Erskine is saying, not sure I want to fill my team up with non-top 6 teams just in 31, which is, again, There's some really nice points in here, guys. This just shows me how you guys understand it and how you're taking it. Because Mark is saying, do you want to just pile in on loads of players to get 11 out for 31? When actually, those teams there outside of Liverpool look a little bit uninspiring, don't they? West Ham, Newcastle, Fulham, Leicester, Burnley, Bournemouth, Huddersfield. A lot of them playing 33 as well. But I take your point there, Mark. They look a little bit uninspiring. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Let's see. James Brady could have Champions League during the time as well, so you've got to consider that as well. There's European games going on. Gavin Doyle is saying, go for it, Sam. Use your guy for triple captain. The double game weeks are overrated for triple captain. If you think that Salah's going to go big against Fulham, go for it. Absolutely. Charlie King, Salah could get rested against Fulham if Liverpool are still in the Champions League. Yeah, so it's something to look out for. So listen, guys, is loads more on this on Twitter, and I'm pretty sure most of you guys are on Twitter. Go follow Ben, go follow us. There's tons of other really great accounts out there that are doing lots of really great blank game week and double game week coverage. But have a plan, but don't stick to it. Have a plan, but keep it fluid. Things are going to change. This game week, actually it's been quite kind to us. The fact that we haven't got City, Everton, Chelsea or Brighton, you can get 11 out with the rest of those that are in there. But as soon as you get to 31, it's going to start getting pretty real. So that's when you're going to need your plan. That is when you're going to need your chips. And guys, if you haven't got your free hit chips still in the bag, it's going to be a tough few weeks. I think it's going to be a tough few weeks. You're going to need that free hit. You're going to need that wild card, I think.
I think if you... Yeah, but some people haven't got that left either.
Tough, right?
I think
Tough.
If you've got that you're just going to have to get as many players out as you can.
Totally.
Particularly, I think I would concentrate more on getting players out for the doubles.
Okay.
I think.
All right. And before we move back, a massive thanks to Ben and for everything he does for the community, because he puts a lot of work into this. Yeah,
that's not taken 5 minutes.
That's not taken. That is a lot of work, and no one else does it, from what I can see. There's no except no imitations. Ben Crellin puts a lot of work into this. It's always completely accurate, right? He doesn't put it out there and go, I've made a little mistake. It's always spot on. And it gives you all the caveats and all the different combinations and permutations. So massive round of applause and a massive thank you to Ben for everything that he does for the FPL community. Really, really great stuff. Really great stuff. Let's go back to here. Let's talk teams for game week 27. I need to go back to here. And I need to go... Where do I need to go? I need to click on this. I need to go here. And I need to scroll up. So here is my team. And I'm going to try and zoom out a little bit so you can see it. There we go. Hopefully that's coming to you on the OBS. Let's check it out. Yeah, it's cool. So here's my bus team, if you like, for the game week. Like I say, Richarlison currently riding the timber in third sub. Pretty sure that he is going to go. And I'm pretty sure that it's going to be Almiron. I'm pretty sure I'm bringing in Almiron. I just fancy we're getting to that point of the season. I'm at 206k rank, which is frankly guff. It's not guff, but it's not where I'd like to be. So it's that point of the season where taking a little bit of a educated guess, a bit of a punt is maybe not a bad thing. And at 6.0, getting rid of Richarlison is absolutely a good thing. And bringing in someone like Almiron, I think, could be happy with that. Charlie King is saying, what does bus team mean? We use it every single week on here. It's become part of the FPL lexicon, actually. So Charlie, if you've not heard the thing bus team before, go and check out the guys from Always Cheating, so at Hail Cheaters on Twitter. They do a weekly podcast and they talk about this bus team, and it's a bit morbid, actually. If you got hit by a bus tomorrow, you'd want to set your FPL team up to play at the weekend, right? So if you got hit by a bus, who would be your captain? If you make no changes between now and the game week, what would your team look like? And this is my bus team. And I always set my bus team at the beginning of a game week. As soon as the previous game week's finished, that's it. Straight back in. Set my bus team up to see how it looks and all the rest of it. Get my captain in and all the rest of it. So I'm like I say, I'm not really buzzing about my team this week. I'm not feeling it very much. If Doherty's injured, that's another problem. And
will you play?
Well, it could be Trent coming on.
You don't really want two Liverpool defenders versus Man United.
Well, no, but listen, this is a game week where a lot of people will struggle to get 11 out. So just to have the team out there is good enough, I think. If Doherty is injured for longer than maybe a couple of weeks, then he's probably got to go. Maybe. Can I get rid of Doherty?
Did you say you're going to transfer Doherty out?
Maybe.
What?
I don't think he doesn't play in game week 31, does he? So I don't know. It goes back to the point that was made about team value and stuff. I've got a lot of value tied up in Doherty. But if I was going to get rid of him, it would be for Pereira. From Leicester. However, I don't want to make that transfer. I want to do Richarlison for Almiron. But if Doherty's out for a long time, then it might be him out, and Richarlison might stay.
Oh my goodness!
But the team is looking as it is, guys. I can't really say much more about it. Bournemouth are playing West Ham. Bournemouth are playing Wolves. Liverpool are playing Man United. I'm not expecting big things, guys. What can I say? Son is going to be great, as he always is. Wan-Bissaka, he's going to play. Goalkeepers, both of those could do quite well, but I'm going to go for Fabianski, I think, at home, just because of home advantage. And of course, Aubameyang, I absolutely want him to play. He's a big differential for me against you, and I do want to captain him. But if he's going to play the 90 minutes against Bate Borisov, that's a problem for me, because Lacazette's going to come in and potentially play the full game. Aubameyang might not get minutes, etc. against Southampton. So there it is, guys. I'm not buzzing about my team. I'm really not. But there it is. It's going to be a funny game week. No Chelsea, no Man City, no Everton, no Brighton. So get the best team you can get out. A nice comment from Wazimi saying Richarlison would survive the apocalypse in these teams. We could have the apocalypse, and Richarlison would still be there.
He will be there in game week 38. And I also think that when you guys come back for our pre-season previews for 1920,
he's still there.
Richarlison will still be in Lee's
first
team.
on the team sheet.
If you put him in first, I will actually laugh.
So we're having a bit of a technical issue here. Why is the website hanging?
It's not even any game weeks going on at the moment.
Come on, website, you can do it. Let's give it a reload. Here we go. Right, let's have a look. So this is your team from last week. Talk us through it, and talk us through your captains and transfers for game week 27.
Armbands on Son.
Okay, very good.
Can't even remember who I put my vice on.
Does it matter when you've got Son as captain?
No,
doesn't even matter, does it?
So that's fine. Transfers I haven't done them yet, but there's been no real. The market's been so quiet that there's been no real 100%.
Price rises you can
and
afford
stuff,
to
so
wait.
I've just been waiting.
You can afford to wait.
So Dean's going out for Pereira, so that's fine. Sané is going, but I don't quite know who to yet.
And you were thinking on the last live stream, were you not? Or maybe it was on the Ohana podcast, that you were thinking of dropping Sané down to someone in the sort of 6 to 6.5 bracket, because
Correct.
You wanted that money to do Firmino to Kane.
Correct.
When Kane is back. Okay. So thoughts on a sort of midfield around the 6 price bracket? There's not a lot to shout about, is there?
No, it's just the one you keep shouting
just
about.
Almiron. Yeah. If you get Almiron, I will be gutted.
That could happen. That could happen, because he's got games. He's got games as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of the ones down in that area don't have games. So other ones I looked at were like James Ward-Prowse doesn't have a fixture in 31. So then you're like, well, is there any point in transferring in a player that doesn't have a fixture in 31? I'd rather transfer in a player that does, because then when I eventually get to decide what my strategy is, I feel like I'm in a better place.
Okay.
So yeah, that might happen.
How are you feeling about the team? Are you feeling as negatively as I am, or are you sort of feeling okay about it?
Yeah, I mean, look at them all. They're all playing each other.
It's going to be a funny old game week, I predict. Going to be a funny old game too.
I mean, I just got to hope that Son and Lloris needs to save about 5 penalties, and then I'll be all right.
Shuvik is saying, why no bus team, Sam? The reason for that is that we're signed in on my account here. So other than signing out and signing back in with Sam, which is a faff, I've just gone to see Sam's team in one of my leagues. So it's last team. So you have got a bus team in your bus team. Son is your captain. And obviously Sané's on the bench, Dini's on the bench, but you're going to plan to get Pereira.
And Rashford's on, and yeah.
Okay, all right. So there it is. Neither of us feeling that magical about game week 27. I think.
Do you know what?
See how it goes.
I'm just really looking forward to game week 28, because that's the game week we're going up to Liverpool. So game week 27, I just kind of feel a bit like, let's just survive it, because the team's not in great shape.
Game week 28 is going to be wicked, isn't it?
It looks quite good for game week 28.
Well, 28 is going to be great, because not only are we going to Anfield to watch the game on Wednesday, but then we're staying over in Liverpool, coming back Thursday night and driving from Liverpool to Uxbridge to be on the FPL show. So game week 28 is going to be epic. I'm really looking forward to that. 27 can just... whatever.
27's just going to happen. I'm just going to survive it.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to
like the apocalypse.
I mean, it could be.
That's all that's going to be there. Richarlison in my team, cockroaches, and game week 27. That's all that's going to survive the apocalypse. JC is saying, ignore Muzzy, is it, at your peril? I think Where has that come from? JC, that is tonight. So you get the award for tonight's...
He's mentioned Muzzy's it twice.
Has he?
Yeah, that's come up twice.
JC, you get the award for tonight's most random comment. Muzzy is it? But what a legend. Muzzy is it.
Tell you what we haven't done either, given this is a preview show. We should have been wearing our retro shirts.
Oh, completely forgotten that.
Man.
Completely forgotten that. Next time.
I've got a jammy pick. Do you want one of them?
I would love a jammy pick. I was just going to come to that before I come to the poll. So go on then, jammy pick.
So.
Almiron.
No. So I thought, right, well, what I'll do is I'll come up with one that is based on stats and one that's just based on my gut. So the one I thought, right, let's search for the highest ICT threat player under 4% that's going to play in this game week. So that is Troy Deeney at Watford. Owned by 4.6%.
Troy Deeney at Watford,
yeah, he is the highest...
Mr. Finley Batter will be pleased.
He's the highest threat-rated player
is he really?
will play behind, that's under 5%.
Okay.
That is behind David Silva and Jesus, who obviously blank, so they can't be it. So he's the next one. But I'm going with my gut on this one.
Troy Deeney.
And jammy pick for this week is going to be the legend that is Rondon.
I thought you were going to pick Troy Deeney.
No, I'm not. Because I don't trust him.
I was sitting here thinking, what can I say about Troy Deeney that's interesting? Nothing. But what can I say about Rondon? Lots of things.
Went through the stats. Troy Deeney's the one. But I don't trust him, so I'm going with Rondon on
Rondon?
Yeah,
okay,
so
no,
Rondon.
I like that. He's under 5%?
And by 4.3%.
Okay.
Threat stats are really good. He's playing the worst team in the world in Huddersfield.
They've got to win that Newcastle, haven't they?
They've got to win it. There's got to be goals. And if there's going to be goals, it's going to be Solomon.
Rondon jammy pick. I can't... Can we even allow that?
Why?
Rondon jammy pick.
What's not to allow?
I think you can. So I'm going for Almiron. You're going for Rondon. So clearly, a lot of Geordie love here in the FPL family this game
What's
week.
happened here?
I don't know what's happened. We've descended to new lows.
I mean, they're pretty much about to get relegated, aren't they? And we've got them as
they're down in the dumps. You've picked Rondon. I've picked some guy that's played 18 minutes from the MLS. It's all going wrong, guys. Game week 27 is going to be an absolute... Who knows? It's going to be random.
Hit and hope game.
It's going to be random. Let's go to the polls. Hit and hope game week, isn't it? Let's just get through it. The guys are like, just get through it. 28 will be better. Captain for game week 27 then. You're going for Son, aren't you, out of those?
I am indeed.
So Aubameyang, Son, Rondon, Salah and Felipe Anderson. You're going for Son.
Oh, look at that.
43% are saying, agreeing with you, and 42% saying Aubameyang. So your vote for Son has tipped it into the South Koreans' favour there. So Son and Aubameyang... very hard to split them, 43 and 42. Rondon 3%, Salah 5%, Felipe Anderson 5%. When will you use your free hit chip, Sam? Have you already used it? Game week 31, 33, or some other game week? I should have put 32 in there as well, shouldn't I? But go on.
I, at the moment, think it will be in 30...
7. Right, 32. So some other game week, which, to be fair, rather than that, I should have just put 31, 32, 33. So for some other game week, I'm going to assume that quite a few people are considering it in 32 there. 40% say some other game week. 43% say game week 31. 4% say game week 33. And 11 say already used it. So there's it's game week 31 or some other game week, which we're reading as 32. So it's pretty split, to be fair. Pretty split between 31 and 32. And for me, I think honestly, guys, it comes down to personal taste. It comes down to, do you go for 31 and be defensive and get 11 out in a week where people are going to be getting, maybe 5 or 6 players out, maybe less for some ghost teams, right?
The ghost teams will kill them, won't it?
Yeah, it'll kill a lot of
clubs are out.
Totally. So if you play your free hit chip defensively potentially and get those 11 players out that could look at a very good score, albeit from players that are a bit uninspiring. Or do you go for 32, which is very aggressive? It's double game week. You go for the best 11 that you can get, and that awesome players. So it's personal preference, in my opinion. Defensive or offensive, 31 or 32. At the minute, I'm leaning towards 32, but that could change. At what week do you start buying differentials? Now, 31, 32, or later? What do you think?
Depends where you are, doesn't it?
It depends, that question, isn't it?
So if I was you, it would be right now.
Right, okay.
If you want to catch, in my position, I'm really on the fence with it, because at some point I'm going to need some just to boost me back up, but not quite yet.
So you're saying later?
Yeah.
Okay, later. 39% going with you, 47% saying now. Game week 31 7 and game week 32 4. That's a bit of a funny question, that, isn't it? It's a bit of a it depends on your overall rank. Again, it depends on where you are with your team, depends on what you want to do. I think fundamentally, you should never stop thinking about getting differentials. That's it's the art of FPL, isn't it? Getting differentials in early. That's what it's all about. Ashley Barnes, good for the running. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Think so?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
48% saying yes. 51% saying no. So that has really split the FPL family community. I love that, guys. So that's really split you. More or less a 50-50 split. Ashley Barnes, good for the running. Yes and no. Very, very difficult to choose a winner there. Kane or Kun for the running. And I noticed that I've put Kane or Run for the running, which is classic leader in the poll. So Kane or Kun for the running, not Kane or Run for the running.
Kane.
You would say Kane, of course you would say Kane.
What? What is that poll result? Unbelievable. Only
16% going for Kane. 66% on the back of 2 back-to-back hat-tricks from FPL Family. I think I would tend to agree that Kun Aguero at 66% is the player that the community are going for in the run-in. 14% being very, very brave and saying neither. And 2% with a lot of money in the bank saying both. So 16% only for Kane. 16%. How do you feel about that? Outrageous.
Quite frankly, I'm disappointed with everyone.
Disappointed in the community.
I'm disappointed in you all. Well, no, that's not true. I'm disappointed in. I'm the 1%. So I'm disappointed in the 15% of you. You're on my good books. The other
good.
The rest of you, disappointed.
Good.
I'm joking.
So there we go, guys. Hopefully that was useful. Hopefully the Ben Crellin stuff and the blanks and the forward planning doesn't blow your mind too much. I personally love it. And I think what Ben does is superb, absolutely superb. The effort and time that he puts into it is just brilliant. Because we all do, right? We all put a lot of time and effort into FPL. We all take it very, very seriously. And there's a guy that is willing to not just put a lot of time and effort into it for his own benefit, but happy to share it with the community. That's the key thing, isn't it? He's happy to share it. He's not just gone away, done a spreadsheet and like, oh, I know exactly what I'm doing. He's happy to share it, and I love that about it. So guys, good luck in game week 27. Like I say, it's a fairly early preview video. We've got tons of action over the next week or so, not least Chelsea playing Man United tomorrow in the FA Cup, which is going to have an impact on Ben's spreadsheet and it's going to have an impact on 31. But then we've got Liverpool versus Bayern on Tuesday. We've got City versus, remind me, Schalke, I think. City versus Schalke potentially on Wednesday. So it's all go. And then I think there's more Europa League on Thursday as well with with Lacazette not playing, Aubameyang probably getting 90 minutes and Chelsea playing. So lots and lots has got to happen between now and the next game week. But the one thing you need to remember is Friday is the deadline. Does that mean we've got football every day next week?
Yes, yeah, it does, yeah.
I love this time of season. Absolutely love it. So, guys, good luck in 27 if we don't speak to you before. Head over to Twitter, at FPL Family on Twitter and on Instagram to talk to us throughout the week in terms of what we're doing with our teams. The FPL Family Jammy pick for this week is Salomon Rondon.
Yeah.
Salomon Rondon.
It had to happen at some point, didn't it?
It had to happen at some point. It had to happen. When will we be live streaming next? I would think that it will be next Sunday.
It will be a week on Sunday.
Next Sunday, where we'll be reviewing Game Week 27. And we'll be looking forward to Game Week 28, of course, which is one we're going to. So we'll be very excited about that.
We'll be doing a review and a preview.
A review and a preview, yes, a review and a preview. But until then, guys, hit the like button before you go. Subscribe if you're new around here. Make sure you hit that little notify bell so you know when we're live. At FPL Family on Twitter and Instagram. And we will see you very, very soon. Cheers, guys. Green arrows.
Green arrows, guys. Bye.